and strengthen the middle class.
Courtesy of CNN, the vice president was asked about changes in her policies over the years, specifically on fracking and decriminalizing illegal border crossings. The interview comes as voters are still trying to learn more about the Democratic ticket under an unusually compressed time frame. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
During a campaign stop at a steel plant in Potterville, Michigan, former President Trump revealed that a new potential IVF policy mandating the government and insurance companies to cover all costs related to the reproductive treatment.
We want more babies, to put it very nicely. And for this same reason, we will also allow new parents to deduct major newborn expenses from their taxes.
It comes as part of his campaign's trek across the Rust Belt, states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, as Vice President Harris travels across Georgia. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing the city of Dallas over change in gun policy for the upcoming state fair. Paxton claims the rule that only active or retired police officers would be allowed onto the fairgrounds with weapons is a violation of state law since the property is owned by the city. The change is being made after 3 people were shot and wounded at the fair last year. Both city and fair officials say they stand behind the new policy. Republicans are furious over what is in the proposed San Antonio city budget. Beth Myers reports.
Part of the budget includes using taxpayer dollars to pay for lawyers for illegal immigrants. Councilman Mark White opposes the allocation of $150,000 to a group called American Gateways. He says it's not something that residents want.
We do a budget survey every year. I don't know why we do it, because we ask them, and then we go off and spend money on other things.
He says it's just one example of frivolous spending. There's also $500,000 for a so-called reproductive justice program that would help pregnant women leave the state to seek an abortion. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
TxDOT is teaming up with local law enforcement to prevent drunk driving this Labor Day weekend. They'll be out on the road stopping drunk drivers as part of the Drive Sober, No Regrets campaign. DPS Sergeant Tony De La Cerda says July and August are the 2 deadliest months for drunk driving fatalities.
We tend to see more drunk drivers over the holiday weekends. On average, we're losing 1 person in Texas every 8 hours because of drunk driving. That means every day, multiple families in Texas lose a loved one and have their lives changed forever.
He says if you plan to drink this Labor Day weekend, make sure you arrange a sober ride through a taxi, friend, or rideshare, or take public transportation. Several new laws passed during the special sessions of the Texas legislature are set to go into effect on Sunday. Among the 50-plus bills, one notable law is House Bill 18, which imposes new regulations on social media platforms. Under this law, digital service providers must verify a user's age and obtain parental consent before minors can create accounts. These changes followed last year's legislative session where more than 700 bills became law. There's a new plan to attract more companies to Texas. Here's Rex Oates.
Seems like every week another business announces a move to Texas. This new plan aims to help them thrive once they get here. It's called the Texas Scale Up Coalition.
Because we have so many companies from California that are looking at Texas correctly as the best place to scale up.
Glenn Hammer with the Texas Association of Business says that companies moving to Texas need quality employees. Coalition will work with universities and community colleges to create a skilled workforce. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Starting September 30th, retailers will need to check photo ID of anyone appearing under the age of 30 who tries to buy tobacco products. Also starting September 30th, vending machines that sell tobacco products will not be allowed where anyone under the age of 21 is permitted to enter at any time. It is 6:06, news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy, traffic and weather coming up.
And we're back. Good. Thanks, everybody, for coming over from the first crash.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
That's 2 days in a row now. We've had some crashes going on.
Yeah, we got something we need to work on here. Thank God it's a holiday weekend. I'll have more time to work on it.
Yes. We'll get right on that.
Yeah. Stand by.
Okay. San Antonio's first news on a Red Friday. We are wearing red to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. It's also a playlist Friday. Music this morning will reflect the end of summer and the beginning of fall. It is a Friday with Beamer. Randy Beamer will join us in the 8 o'clock hour, 6:48. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. Coming up at 6:20, author and investment guru Jared Dillian talking about the economic plans of both Trump and Harris. He'll break them down for us, tell us which one from his perspective is the better path. Speaking of Kamala Harris, coming right up, we'll talk more about her interview last night along with her running mate Tim Walz on CNN. But first, your traffic and weather together.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast: partly cloudy skies today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Also a stray shower thunderstorm possible all 3 days. Highs in the mid-90s all 3 days. And on Labor Day, rain showers in the morning, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. There's a potential for some heavy rainfall on your Labor Day. Highs in the upper 80s. 74 degrees at the Pearl downtown. 74 in Von Ormy and 73 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:11.
Blame it on September. We got to blame it on something. San Antonio's first news. Well, last night, the moment a lot of people were waiting for, finally, Kamala Harris gives a sit-down interview. It was to Dana Bash of CNN. She was sitting next to her running mate, Tim Walz, and Dana Bash asked Kamala Harris why she hasn't achieved all of her goals as vice president.
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors.
I would say, Charity, and we talked about it, the interview with Kamala Harris last night was it wasn't earth shaking. Wasn't a game changer. And one of the big things she didn't really fumble in a big way, didn't commit the serious gaffe that will go viral.
Yeah, I don't think she moved the needle one way or the other. I think she probably passed the test doing an unscripted interview. But I think we got more in terms of policy than we have ever from Kamala Harris. I did wish at times Dana Bash would push back a little bit more when she would give a vague response to certain questions. But I think we'll get more of that, hopefully, on the debate stage next month.
If that's what we have to wait for, because I don't think she'll do another interview before then. What I thought about it, one word, vanilla. It was very vanilla. It was very middle of the road, very just plain. It wasn't a lot of substance to it. And she's a typical politician, though. You ask her one question and she gives you an answer to another question.
True.
Or another question to another question. It was the same thing over and over again.
Well, and if indeed the rest of America finds this vanilla, Donald Trump is anything but vanilla.
Anything but vanilla,
so,
yes.
The question in this election, do you want vanilla? And maybe there are some who do, or do you want, all of the flavors, all of the 31 plus flavors, which you get with Donald Trump? I think you nailed it, Charity. I don't think she moved the needle one way or another. I don't think you watched this and thought, oh my God, she's god awful. How did she get into this position? But at the same time, I wasn't moved. Although I did watch the CNN after show, and they were pretty much gushing about her after that. We will react more to this interview last night. We'll get more of your talkbacks. But coming up, we're going to talk with author and investment guru Jared Dillian, going to break down the economic plans of each candidate for us. WOAI News Time 614.
And we're back. No live today from anybody. So
okay.
We're good.
Tim, Echo, Rooster, Tommy, Travis, welcome in. So far, one, Tim.
Yeah.
One per
Let's
hour.
keep it at one.
Far.
That's fine. Just one is fine.
Yesterday was 2. The record is 2.
Over and under's 3. Go under. Go under. Everybody take under. Uh-oh. Our stuff went down.
Oh, okay.
And the right arch supports that got me walking the right way. The foundation of my body had never felt any better.
Hey, you did it. Look at that, man. You should be the director.
Maybe someday.
Moving your way up from key grip all the way to director.
Someday, perhaps. Okay, there are 2 systems apparently in the Atlantic.
And it looks like one of them could possibly hit the East Coast. It would be a while. Amen, Travis. Now, we could kind of throw them a curveball and do talkbacks at 40 and flip that to, the Paxton thing to 50.
I'm open, whatever you want to do.
We never do them there. It'll be, different.
Yeah.
I don't know who's doing that. Echo.
I guess I should Google Jared Dillian, see what I could learn about him.
Fact is, it's not. My cell phone company only charges you for data that you need with just $25 a month with unlimited call, unlimited text, 5.
He's got a show. He's got a money show on the radio.
That much I do know.
Writer, trader, musician.
He's a musician? Hey, you think maybe? No, he's too good.
Writer, trader, musician, entrepreneur, and educator. Would you like to join Chopped Liver?
We kind of need a front man.
In his spare time, he's a progressive house DJ and speaks frequently on mental health issues at financial institutions.
Interesting. And he's written, it looks like, at least 4 books. Armington Capital. Bloomberg. Editor and publisher of the Daily Dirt Nap.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together, then we will explore the Trump and Harris economic plans with author and investment guru Jared Dillian. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
3 police officers in Dallas were shot last night, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate sat down for a CNN interview that covered a wide range of topics. And former President Trump is promising that he'll require health insurance companies or the government to cover in vitro fertilization costs. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast today, tomorrow, and Sunday, all 3 days. Partly cloudy, a stray shower, thunderstorm, possible highs in the mid-90s. Monday, Labor Day, showers in the morning, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, a potential for some heavy rainfall, highs in the upper 80s. It is 74 degrees right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 621.
San Antonio's first news, we welcome in Jared Dillian. He is an author, trader, musician, entrepreneur, and educator. And Jared, you've been paying close attention to Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's economic plans. From your perspective, which one stands out to you?
Well, it's really a matter of which one is worse. So I look, I mean, on balance, Kamala Harris is much worse for the economy, but Donald Trump, you know, he wants to have influence over monetary policy. He wants to explicitly lower interest rates, and this is going to lead to inflation in the long run. And I'm also not a big fan of the tariffs. Tariffs are a tax on the consumer. It's going to result in higher prices for imported goods. It's going to result in inflation. On Kamala Harris's side, she wants a tax on unrealized capital gains. And one of the reasons our economy and stock market are so strong is because of our startup industry. And this is a blow to startups. If you're getting all of your compensation in the form of capital gains, this is a very bad thing. She wants to give $25,000 to first-time home buyers, which is going to result in houses that cost $25,000 more. And she wants something like price controls at grocery stores, which is straight out of the Hugo Chavez playbook and is going to result in shortages and deprivation.
And Jared, we've seen reports that suggest Trump's economic proposals would increase federal deficits by almost like 5 times over the next decade than those of Kamala Harris. Is that something that's largely being ignored?
Well, I think the voters are starting to come around to the idea that deficits are bad, and I don't think there's really going to be any political change until people really start feeling the pain, and they'll feel the pain in the form of higher interest rates. Now, right now, we're running about a $2 trillion deficit. I believe it's going to go up a lot more under Kamala Harris than Donald Trump. You know, there are a lot of small government people in the Republican Party. I believe that Trump has the ability to shrink government if he wants to, or at least not grow it. But Kamala Harris, I believe, will drastically increase the size and scope of government.
All right, so these are campaign promises. Just how realistic are they? Which one is more realistic than the other?
Well, it's very realistic that Trump would have some influence over monetary policy, but Kamala Harris's proposals are not going to fly really until 2026. It's statistically unlikely that we're going to get one party in charge of government, the Democrats or the Republicans. We're most likely going to get divided government, which means the next time Kamala Harris is going to have the bite of the apple is going to be 2026. So a lot of this is hypothetical, but, you know, it is pretty scary stuff.
Jared, Kamala Harris says Donald Trump will gut Medicare and Social Security. Those programs over the long term, funding for them looks questionable. What do you think happens with Medicare and Social Security?
I don't think there's any evidence that either candidate is going to do that. Trump has said he's going to protect Social Security. Honestly, if we were really going to have a serious conversation about debt, then we should talk about Social Security. We should talk about raising the retirement age. When Social Security was passed in the 30s, life expectancy was much lower, and the number of people that lived into their 70s was actually pretty small. And now everybody lives into their 70s. So, fiscally, the program just doesn't work unless you raise the retirement age. But about 80% of the population is against doing that.
You can learn more about Jared Dillian at his website, jareddillian.com. Learn about his newsletters, the Daily Dirt Nap, and we're going to get those bastards, plus all of his books, all the information at the website, jareddillian.com. Charity has everything you need to know right here at the bottom of the hour. Charlie Parker in the next half hour with Those Were the Days, WOAI News Time, 625. We have breaking news. Breaking news on the storyteller. Kemper, I don't know if you're in here, but we just got a talk back on the storyteller. He will reveal in his talk back whether or not he will be at the Barry Manilow concert tonight.
Yes, so stick around. That's coming up.
That's big breaking news.
Hey, The Rock is in.
Steve DeRocco joins us from Santa Fe, New Mexico. He made it without incident. Congratulations.
Very
Welcome
cool.
in The Rock.
Very cool.
The original Rock, co-founder of the San Antonio Polar Bear Club. Welcome
That's
in.
BEXAR, by the way.
Yeah, BEXAR, Polar Bear.
Good morning, Louie.
Club.
Good morning, Echo, Steve,
Louie,
Travis,
Louie,
Jonathan.
Louie. Louie.
Yeah, you're right. We need a new singer.
I see. Chopped liver,
Jared,
baby.
We'll get Jared on that.
Jared
yeah.
Dillian is a musician.
He's going to be our new front man. He just doesn't know it
He
yet.
could be the front man of Chopped Liver.
He doesn't know it yet.
I like it.
Because every good band needs a front man.
Yeah, he's a good looking. Go look at the website, jareddillian.com. He's a good looking man.
Not bad.
He could be the front man. Okay, I'm going to let her know we're flipping to talkbacks because we got the breaking storyteller news.
Yes. We'll start with that if you don't mind.
We'll open, very nice. We'll open with the storyteller.
Yes.
40.
And plus, he gives Charity a nice little shout out. So,
Okay, I'll try
anytime.
to shut up throughout his whole
Yes, please.
talk back this time.
Tell old Kemper. I won't reveal what he tell old Kemper, but that's what he says.
Yeah, he's got a message for Kemper coming up.
Hopefully Kemper is listening, and hopefully she is aware to this, because we could be a double matchmaker tonight, Chris.
Wow.
You know?
We're en fuego. And what if somebody
Else, yeah.
what Jolene, somebody may
things can happen.
One of our
man.
listeners could go look for Jolene and say in row 27.
That's true. Kemper, if you're on the chat, let us know what row you're sitting in so we can let the storyteller know. All right, here comes Charity.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, a Dallas police officer is dead, 2 others injured after exchanging gunfire with a suspect, and Kamala Harris's first sit-down interview is behind her. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Friday: partly cloudy, a high near 95. Tonight, a stray shower or storm possible, a low in the upper 70s. Right now, we're at 77 degrees. All 3 police officers in Dallas were shot last night, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. Fox's Chanley Painter has more.
Dallas police confirming 3 officers were shot in the line of duty. They say officers responding to an officer in distress call near Oak Cliff Community Center found a Dallas police officer shot in a marked patrol car. The arriving officers then exchanged gunfire with an armed suspect at the scene, where 2 more officers were shot. As of right now, 1 is in stable condition, 1 is in critical condition, and 1 officer is dead. After the shootout, the suspect fled the scene, leading officers on a high-speed chase. The pursuit ended in Louisville. According to police, when the suspect exited the vehicle, he had a long gun. Officers then fired at the suspect, killing him.
Here's Dallas PD spokesperson Kristen Lohman.
We asked tonight and this morning for the thoughts and prayers of our city, for not only those who are recovering in the hospital, but for our fallen, for their family, and for their loved ones.
Dallas police say flags at all city facilities will be flown at half-staff in memory of the murdered officer. Vice President Kamala Harris gave her first interview since launching her presidential campaign. Fox's Chris DeMeo reports.
The vice president sitting down with CNN with her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The interview focused largely on policy, as the vice president sought to show that she had adopted more moderate positions, like on fracking.
I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
Courtesy of CNN, the vice president saying the most important aspect of her policy perspective and decisions is her values have not changed. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Speaking to Fox News, House Speaker Mike Johnson says Harris has proven that she is not for the American people.
Kamala Harris has a long record in public service. She was in the Senate. She has been vice president. Everyone knows where she stands. She's a San Francisco radical, a big government socialist. She has been on record on the opposite side of every issue of where the American people are.
Meantime, former President Trump returns to Pennsylvania today for a rally in the hotly contested swing state. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
Former President Trump will speak in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Friday afternoon. He's been traveling around the country holding rallies in critical swing states, hoping to combat what has been, as of late, a surge by the Democratic ticket led by Vice President Kamala Harris. The Johnstown rally comes 2 months after the attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. Today's rally will be an indoor event. Recent polling has former President Trump and Vice President Harris virtually tied in Pennsylvania, with less than 10 weeks to Election Day. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
He threatened to do it. Now he has. Texas Attorney General Kim Paxton is suing the city of Dallas and the State Fair of Texas. The State Fair rolled out a new policy in response to a shooting in the food court last October that left several people injured. It banned all firearms from the State Fair this year. Carissa Condianis with the fair says other venues have restrictions that are in line with theirs.
The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the San Antonio Stock Show, as well as Rodeo Austin, they have similar policies in place to ban weapons. And so we feel this is the measure that we need to put in place.
And Paxton sent a letter warning that the city of Dallas was to change the new policy, saying it violates state law and infringes on Second Amendment rights. He gave them 2 weeks to comply. He claims they have not, so he filed a lawsuit. The city of Dallas and the State Fair have yet to respond, but appeals are likely. Those for and against a new stadium downtown for the San Antonio Missions gave city council an earful during a special session yesterday.
I don't want to move. And I know realistically 60% of the people living in that apartment won't want to move either.
This resident echoed many of the economic concerns of his neighbors and many on San Antonio City Council about a proposed new stadium for the San Antonio Missions minor league baseball team. Those in favor include Mayor Ron Nierenberg, who says the proposal must work for San Antonio as well for the team.
Protect San Antonians in terms of the finances of this deal, but also make sure that we're protecting San Antonio families.
The council must approve the initial framework plan by September 5th, while a finalized stadium plan must be submitted to Major League Baseball by October to keep the AA Padres affiliate in town. Eric Lankum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
It seems like every week there's news of another company that's moving their headquarters to Texas. New plan is being rolled out as a way to help them thrive once they get here.
We're actually soon going to be launching something called the Texas Scale Up Coalition.
Glenn Hammer with the Texas Association of Business says a big part of this will be education. The coalition will work with universities and community colleges to create a skilled workforce. He says that's the biggest need of companies that want to expand their operations. A warning for people who plan to party this Labor Day weekend: you better not drink and drive. TxDOT and local law enforcement are trying to reduce the number of alcohol-related crashes through the Drive Sober, No Regrets campaign.
If the danger you put yourself, your family, and others on the road isn't enough to convince you to drive sober, be aware that people convicted of drunk driving face long-term financial and personal costs. You have options that do not include getting behind the wheel after you've been drinking. If you do, just know that we will be out there looking for you. We will find you and we will arrest you.
That's TPS Sergeant Tony De La Cerda. Last Labor Day, there were 334 alcohol-related crashes in Texas, resulting in 14 fatalities and 35 serious injuries. Sleeping in on the weekends may help lower your risk of heart disease. Researchers in China recently studied data from over 90,000 patients on the relationship between heart disease and getting extra sleep. They discovered those who used their weekends to get caught up on the sleep they miss during the busy week were 19% less likely to develop heart disease than those who slept fewer hours on the weekend. It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money in the world of business. Ed Corey is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Ed. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
Brian Adams, Summer of 69 on a playlist Friday as we say farewell to summer. Sort of. It's Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer, even though we know that the autumnal equinox has not happened yet. It's a Red Friday. We're wearing red to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days coming up at 6:48. We've been asking you on the iHeartRadio app, what did you think of Kamala Harris's performance last night on CNN? Plus, if you want to add another thought, Mr. T's alma mater, John Jay High School, faces my alma mater, Holmes High School, this weekend. We're placing a bet. What should be on the line on our bet? Charity McCurdy, how do they get us that information?
The free iHeartRadio app. You search 1200 WOAI, look for that red circle. That's the talkback button to provide your feedback.
And he's been missing for a while, but he's back. Here's the storyteller.
Good morning. It's the storyteller. Well, I didn't see the interview last night because, well, college football was on. And besides, I knew that Charity would tell me everything I needed to know this morning. Y'all have a good day. Oh, and tell old Kemper I'll be wearing a black Stetson with a yellow rose.
Oh, wow. Nice. Things just got super interesting.
And he's a college football fan. And we know Kemper's a college football fan.
What if we had a double romance?
Oh, my
tonight?
gosh.
Bob and Cindy and Kemper and the storyteller at the Barry Manilow concert.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just saying Kemper might be out of everybody's league because we've seen her in person and she is absolutely delightful and gorgeous.
Well, we just did a little detective work and we saw a picture of the storyteller.
Good looking man. He's written how many books?
14.
And he's also written books of poetry.
Yeah.
So,
and with that
woman-
voice,
Yeah.
come on, tell me a poem. I'd date him. Hell.
All right, Kemper, check your DMs, okay? I'm just saying.
Speaking of Kemper.
Good morning on this Red Barry Manilow Friday.